Good morning everyone. This is class 12th, subject chemistry, chapter number 8, D and F block elements, lecture number 5. In this lecture, I will be discussing the properties of potassium permanganate, that is KMnO4. And after that, I will start with inner transition elements, and in inner transition elements, I will discuss lanthanoids, that is electronic configuration and atomic and ionic radii of lanthanoids. And in the end of this lecture, I will discuss the homework of lecture number 4. In the last lecture, we discussed the preparation of potassium permanganate. Now we are starting with structure of KMnO4. Potassium permanganate, that is KMnO4, is isostructural with KClO4. That is, the structure of KMnO4 is similar to the structure of KCl4. Now here are the structure of MnO4 2 negative and MnO4 negative ion. MnO4 2 negative, that is manganate ion, and MnO4 negative is permanganate ion. Now this is the structure of manganate ion, in which manganese is tetrahedrally surrounded by oxygen atoms, and this manganate ion is green in color and it has one unpaired electron, that is why it is paramagnetic in nature. Now this is the structure of permanganate ion, where manganese is tetrahedrally surrounded by oxygen atoms, and this permanganate ion is purple in color and it is diamagnetic in nature, and the oxidation number of manganese in permanganate ion is +7. So here are the structure of manganate and permanganate ion. Manganate ion has one unpaired electron, that is why it is paramagnetic in nature, and MnO4 negative ion is diamagnetic in nature, whereas manganate ion is green in color and permanganate ion is purple in color. KMnO4 is not very soluble in water, and when we heat at 513 Kelvin, this potassium permanganate decomposes and it will give manganate, potassium, manganate and MnO2, that is manganese dioxide, and oxygen gas will release. So this is the action of heat on potassium permanganate. It will give K2MnO4, MnO2 and oxygen. In acidic solution, potassium permanganate acts as a strong oxidizing agent, and this is the reaction in acidic medium. MnO4 negative, it will reduce to Mn+2. Here the oxidation number of manganese is +7. So it will reduce from +7 to +2 by gaining 5 electron, and that is why it will behave as strong oxidizing agent. That is, in acidic medium, it will oxidize I negative ions to I2, Fe+2 to Fe+3, C2O4 to negative, that is oxalate ion, to carbon dioxide, and it will oxidize hydrogen sulfide to sulfur. And if we have SO3 negative ions, so they will be oxidized to sulfate ions, and NO2 negative ion will be oxidized to NO3 negative. So here one question is given: complete the reaction MnO4 negative in acidic medium plus oxalate ion. So this MnO4 negative, it will behave as strong oxidizing agent and it will oxidize C2O4 2 negative to carbon dioxide. So first of all, we will write oxidation half reaction, reduction half reaction, and then we will complete this reaction. So here the oxidation number of manganese in MnO4 negative is +7. So it will reduce +7 to +2, that is MnO4 negative, they will convert to Mn+2, and the C2O4 2 negative will be oxidized to CO2. Now +7 to +2 is reduction process, and here the oxidation number of carbon is +3, and in case of CO2 it is +4. So this is oxidation and this is reduction. So we will write oxidation and reduction half reaction separately. So this is our reduction half reaction. MnO4 negative will convert to Mn+2. Now on left hand side we have 4 oxygen, and in acidic medium, for balancing oxygen we will add water molecule on the opposite side. That is, on right hand side we will add 4 water molecules. Now here are 8 hydrogen, and for balancing 8 hydrogen we will add H plus ions on the other side. So this is the reduction half reaction. Reduction means gain of electron. This MnO4 negative, here the oxidation number is +7, so it will gain 5 electron and convert to Mn+2. Now this is oxidation half reaction. Here the oxidation number of carbon is +3, and on right hand side the oxidation number of carbon is +4. So +3 to +4, 1 electron it will lose and therefore convert to CO2. Now here we have 2 carbon, so for balancing carbon atom we will multiply this CO2 by 2. Oxygen is already balanced. Now this is reduction half reaction, this is oxidation half reaction. Now here we have 2 electron in oxidation half reaction and 5 electron in reduction half reaction. So we will multiply reduction half reaction with 2 and oxidation half reaction with 5. So here is the complete equation, complete balanced equation: 2MnO4 negative plus 16H plus C2O4 2 negative, and on right hand side we have 2Mn+2 plus 8H2O plus 10 CO2. So this is how we balanced this equation, and the product is 2Mn+2, 8H2O and 10 CO2. MnO4 negative, it will behave as oxidizing agent and it will oxidize oxalate ion to carbon dioxide. In neutral solution or faintly alkaline solution, it will oxidize I negative ion to IO3 negative. This is the equation: MnO4 negative plus H2O plus I negative. In neutral or alkaline solution, this MnO4 negative, it will convert to MnO2 and this I negative ion is oxidized to IO3 negative. Second reaction is thiosulfate is oxidized to sulfate in neutral solution or in alkaline solution. MnO4 negative ion plus thiosulfate. So MnO4 negative is converted to MnO2 and thiosulfate will convert to sulfate ion. Next reaction is manganese salt is converted to MnO2 in neutral or alkaline solution. Now here we have question: balance this reaction. MnO4 negative plus I negative is giving MnO2 and IO3 negative. We have to balance this reaction in basic medium. Now first of all we will find the oxidation number of manganese in MnO4 negative, that is +7. In MnO2 the oxidation number is +4, and in IO3 negative the oxidation number is +5. So +7 to +4 is reduction and -1 to +5 is oxidation, and this is reduction. So first of all we will write oxidation and reduction half reaction separately. So oxidation half reaction is I negative to IO3 negative. So here the oxidation number is -1 and on right hand side the oxidation number of iodine is +5. So oxidation means loss of electron. So 6 electron, by losing 6 electron it will convert to IO3 negative. Now on right hand side we have 3 oxygen. In basic medium we will balance oxygen and hydrogen by adding water molecule and OH negative ions. So on right hand side we have 3 oxygen, so we will add 3 water molecule, and on the opposite side we will add 6 OH negative ions. So this equation is balanced. Now next is reduction half reaction, that is MnO4 negative is converted into MnO2. So here the oxidation number is +7 and on right hand side the oxidation number of manganese is +4. So +7 to +4 it will gain 3 electron and convert to MnO2. Now on left hand side we have 4 oxygen and on right hand side we have 2 oxygen. So here we will add 2 water molecule on left hand side, and on right hand side we will add 4 OH negative ions. Now here in reduction half reaction we have 3 electron, and in oxidation half reaction we have 6 electron. So we will multiply this equation by 2. So now the overall equation will become MnO4 negative, that is 2 MnO4 negative plus 4 H2O plus 6 electron is giving 2 MnO2 plus 8 OH negative. Now we will add oxidation half reaction and reduction half reaction. So the overall equation will become 2 MnO4 negative plus 4 H2O plus 6 OH negative plus I negative, and on right hand side we have IO3 negative plus 2 MnO2 plus 8 OH negative, 8 OH negative plus 3 H2O. So the final equation will become 2 MnO4 negative. Here we have 4 H2O minus 3 H2O, H2O only one molecule is left, I negative, and on right hand side 2 MnO2 plus IO3 negative plus 2 OH negative. So this is how we balance redox reaction in basic medium. Next is uses of potassium permanganate. It is used in volumetric analysis. It is also used as an oxidant in organic chemistry for the oxidation reactions. It is also used for bleaching wool, cotton, silk and textile fibers. In volumetric titrations involving KMnO4 are carried out only in the presence of dilute H2SO4. So while carrying out the volumetric titration with KMnO4, only dilute H2SO4 is used and not HCl and HNO3. The reason is oxygen produced from potassium permanganate with dilute H2SO4 is used only for oxidizing the reducing agent, and H2SO4 does not give any oxygen of its own to oxidize the reducing agent. Now if we use HCl in place of dilute H2SO4, so what will happen? Oxygen produced from potassium permanganate and HCl, that oxygen is used to oxidize HCl to Cl2, and therefore we cannot use HCl in the titration involving KMnO4. And in case of HNO3, this HNO3 will itself act as oxidizing agent and it oxidizes the reducing agent. That is why we cannot use HCl and HNO3. Only we can use is dilute H2SO4 in the volumetric titration involving KMnO4. So this is the note. In volumetric titrations involving KMnO4, only dilute H2SO4 is used, but HCl and HNO3 are not used. In case of HNO3, it will itself act as oxidizing agent, whereas in case of HCl, the liberated oxygen that will oxidize HCl to Cl2, and that is why we cannot use these two in volumetric titration involving KMnO4. So this is all about potassium permanganate. Next topic is oxides and oxoanions of metals. Oxides are generally formed by the reaction of metals with oxygen at high temperature. All the metals except scandium forms MO type of oxides and they are ionic in nature. Next is highest oxidation number in the oxides coincides with the group number and is attained in Sc2O3, which is the oxide of scandium, to Mn2O7. That is, beyond group 7 no higher oxides are formed except in the case of iron Fe2O3 is formed. Here the oxidation number of scandium is +3, that is the maximum oxidation state of scandium, and in Mn2O7 the oxidation number of manganese is +7, which is equal to its group number. Besides the oxides, the oxocations stabilizes vanadium 5 as VO2 plus vanadium 4 as VO plus 2, and for titanium the oxocation is TiO plus 2, where the oxidation number of titanium is +4. and as the oxidation number of a metal increases, the ionic character decreases. Here is the oxide of manganese, that is Mn2O7, where the oxidation number of manganese is +7 and it is a green oil which is covalent in nature. And in higher oxides, acidic character is predominant. That is, if we dissolve the oxide of manganese, that is Mn2O7, in water, so it gives HMnO4, that is the acid of chromium trioxide gives H2CrO4 and H2Cr2O7 in water, and the chromium oxide is basic in nature, Cr2O3 is amphoteric, and chromium trioxide is acidic in nature. Now in case of vanadium, V2O4 dissolved in acids to give VO plus 2 salts, and V2O5 with acid and alkalis give VO4 3 negative ion and VO4 positive ion. That is, with alkalis it give VO4 3 negative and with acid it will give VO4 positive. Now here are the oxides of manganese is given: MnO, Mn3O4, Mn2O3, MnO4, Mn2O7. Here the oxidation number of manganese is +2. Here it is 8/3 +3 in Mn2O3, MnO4 oxidation number of manganese is +4, and in Mn2O7 the oxidation number of manganese is +7. So this MnO is basic in nature and this Mn2O7 is acidic in nature. Here oxidation state is low, that is +2, and in Mn2O7 it has the highest oxidation state, that is +7. So MnO is basic and Mn2O7 is acidic in nature, whereas these three oxides of manganese are amphoteric in nature. So this is all about oxides and oxoanions of metal. Now next we start with F block elements. Next is inner transition elements or F block elements. So these are defined as the elements in which last electron enters the f orbital are called F block elements. And these F block elements have been divided into two series, lanthanoids and actinoids. Lanthanoids contain 14 elements starting from lanthanum, and actinoids also contain 14 elements starting from actinium. And the study of lanthanoids is easier as compared to actinoids. That is, the study of actinoid is complicated. The study of lanthanoids is easier because they show one stable oxidation state, whereas if we talk about actinoids, they show a wide range of oxidation state and they are radioactive elements. That is why the chemistry of actinoids is complicated. So we will discuss lanthanoids and actinoids separately, and the general electronic configuration for F block elements is N-2F1,2,14, N-1D021 NS2. So this is the general electronic configuration for F block elements. Now we will start with lanthanoids. Now we start with lanthanoids. Lanthanoid starts from atomic number 57 to 71 and the electronic configuration is xenon 4F1214, 5D021, 6S2. So here I am discussing the electronic configuration for all lanthanoids. First lanthanoid is, the atomic number is 57, name of the element is lanthanum, symbol is La, and the electronic configuration is xenon 5D1, 6S2. Xenon is a noble gas, the atomic number is 54, so up to xenon 54 electrons are completed, 55, 56 and 57. Next element is atomic number 58, the name is cerium and the symbol is Ce. The electronic configuration is xenon 4F2, 5D0, 6S2. Next element is atomic number 59 and the name is praseodymium. The symbol is Pr and the electronic configuration is xenon 4F3, 5D0, 6S2. Next is atomic number 60. The name is neodymium and the symbol is Nd and the electronic configuration is xenon 4F4, 5D0, 6S2. Next element is atomic number 61. The name is promethium and the symbol is Pm and the electronic configuration is xenon 4F5, 5D0, 6S2. Now Next is 62. The name is samarium and the symbol is Sm, and this is the electronic configuration for atomic number 62. Now 63 is europium, the symbol is Eu, and the electronic configuration is xenon 4f7 5d0 6s2. 64 atomic number is gadolinium, the symbol is Gd, and the electronic configuration is xenon 4f7 5d1 6s2. Next element is terbium, the symbol is Tb, and the electronic configuration is xenon 4f9 5d0 6s2. Next element is atomic number 66, that is disoprosium, the symbol is Dy, and the electronic configuration is xenon 4f10 5d0 6s2. Next element with atomic number 67 is holmium, the symbol is Ho, and the electronic configuration is xenon 4f11 5d0 6s2. Next element is atomic number 68, erbium, symbol is Er, and the electronic configuration is xenon 4f12 5d0 6s2. Now next is atomic number 69, the element is thulium, the symbol is Tm, and the electronic configuration is xenon 4f13 5d0 6s2. Next element is atomic number 70, the name is ytterbium, the symbol is Yb, and the electronic configuration is 4f14 5d0 6s2. And the last element is atomic number 71, the name is lutetium, and the symbol is Lu, and the electronic configuration is xenon 4f14 5d1 6s2. So these are the elements in lanthanoids. Now next is the atomic and ionic sizes of lanthanoids. So atomic and ionic radii will be discussed in next lecture. After doing this, you will solve these questions. Question number 1. Sulfur dioxide gas turns a dichromate solution green. Write down the reaction. This is the first question. Question number 2 is write balanced chemical equation for the following reactions. First is mixture of K2Cr2O7 and NaCl is heated with concentrated H2SO4. So you will write down the balanced chemical equation. Second part is KMnO4 is added to hot solution of Mn2 sulfate solution, that is KMnO4 is added to hot solution of manganese sulfate solution. You will write down the chemical equation for this. Third question is write the balanced chemical equation for the reaction of aqueous NH3 and aqueous NH3 with KMnO4. Next question is question number 4. The product of oxidation of I negative with MnO4 negative ion in alkaline medium is. So you will write the product of I negative with MnO4 negative in alkaline medium. And NCERT exercise question number 8.1, part number 2nd, 4th, 6th, 8th. You will write down the electronic configuration for these 4 parts. Now I am discussing the homework of lecture number 4. NCERT in text question number 4. The E0 for M plus 2 to M value for copper is positive, that is 0.34 volt. What is the possible reason for this? So the answer for this question is copper has high ionization enthalpy and relatively low value of hydration enthalpy. And this high energy to transform from copper solid to copper plus 2 in aqueous is not balanced by hydration enthalpy, and that is why the E0 value for M plus 2 to M for copper is positive. As the standard electrode potential, this E0 is standard electrode potential, it depends upon ionization enthalpy, enthalpy of atomization and hydration enthalpy. So in case of copper, that is the E0 value for M plus 2 to M for copper is positive because it has high value of ionization enthalpy and low value of hydration enthalpy, and this high energy to transform from copper to copper plus 2 in aqueous state is not balanced by hydration enthalpy, and that is why copper has positive value, that is 0.34 volt. Next question is question number 8.5. How would you account for the irregular variations of ionization enthalpy, that is first and second, in first series of transition elements? And the answer is irregular variation in ionization enthalpies is mainly attributed to the degree of stability of different 3D configuration. That is, D0, D5 and D10 are exceptionally stable, and that is why we have variation in first and second ionization enthalpies. For example, here is the two metal from 3D transition series, that is manganese and chromium. Now if we compare the first ionization enthalpy, so chromium has low value of first ionization enthalpy as compared to manganese. But if we compare the second ionization enthalpy, then this chromium has higher value as compared to manganese, because after removing this one electron from 4s, it will acquire 3d5, which is a stable electronic configuration, and that is why it has high value of ionization enthalpy. Next question is NCERT exercise questions. Question number 14. Describe the preparation of potassium dichromate from the iron chromite ore. What is the effect of increasing pH on a solution of K2Cr2O7? So this we already discussed in our lecture during the preparation of potassium dichromate. Next question is, describe the oxidizing action of potassium dichromate and write the ionic equation for its reaction with iodide, iron 2 solution and with H2S. So here is the reaction. First is with iodide. This Cr2O7 2 negative, it will act as strong oxidizing agent and it will oxidize iodide to iodine. So here Cr2O7 2 negative, it will convert to chromium plus 3, and this iodide ion, it will convert to iodine. So here this Cr2O7 2 negative, it will act as oxidizing agent and it oxidizes I negative ion to iodine. Next is with Fe plus 2, this dichromate ion, again it will act as oxidizing agent and it will oxidize Fe plus 2 to Fe plus 3. So this is the reaction. Now third is H2S. So with H2S, the Cr2O7 2 negative, it will oxidize H2S to sulfur and itself reduce from Cr2O7 2 negative to chromium plus 3. So these are the three ionic equations in which Cr2O7 2 negative behave as strong oxidizing agent. Now next is question number 16. Describe the preparation of KMnO4. How does the acidified permanganate solution react with Fe plus 2 ion, SO2 and with oxalic acid? So preparation of KMnO4 we already discussed in lecture, and this KMnO4, it also act as strong oxidizing agent, and in acidic medium it will oxidize Fe plus 2 to Fe plus 3. SO2, it will oxidize sulfur dioxide to sulfate. Here the oxidation number of sulfur is plus 4 and in SO4 2 negative the oxidation number of sulfur is plus 6. And with oxalic acid, it will oxidize oxalic acid to carbon dioxide. So these are the three reactions in which MnO4 negative, it will behave as strong oxidizing agent, and in acidic medium it will oxidize Fe plus 2 to Fe plus 3, sulfur dioxide to sulfate and oxalic acid to carbon dioxide, whereas it itself reduces from MnO4 negative to Mn plus 2. Next question is question number 25th, first part. Explain the following. The lowest oxide of transition metal is basic. The highest is amphoteric or acidic. The answer is the lowest oxide of transition metal is basic because the metal atom has low oxidation state. This means that it can donate valence electron which are not involved in the bonding and to act like a base. Whereas in higher oxidation state, or you can see that in highest oxide, the metal is present in higher oxidation state and the valence electron involved in the bonding and therefore not available for the donation. That is why the highest oxides are acidic or amphoteric. Example is MnO, in which Mn is present in plus 2 oxidation state. So it will behave as basic, or this oxide is basic. But if we compare this with Mn2O7, so here manganese is present in plus 7 oxidation state. So this oxide is acidic oxide. Second part is a transition metal exhibit highest oxidation state in oxides and fluorides because oxygen and fluorine has small size and high electronegativity. That is why they can oxidize a metal to highest oxidation state and stabilizes the higher oxidation state. That is why transition metal exhibit highest oxidation state in oxides and fluorides. Third part is the highest oxidation state is exhibited in oxoanion of a metal. So here is the example, Cr2O7 2 negative. This is the oxoanion of a metal, that is the oxoanion of chromium. Here the oxidation state of chromium is +6, that is the maximum oxidation state of chromium, and here oxygen is combining with this metal due to the combination of metal with oxygen, which is highly electronegative and oxidizing element. Here oxygen is small in size and it is highly electronegative and oxidizing element. That is why highest oxidation state is exhibited in oxoanion of a metal. Next question is question number 26. Indicate the steps in the preparation of K2Cr2O7 from chromite ore and KMnO4 from pyrolusite ore. So chromite ore is FeCr2O4 and pyrolusite ore is MnO2. So this we already discussed in lecture. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe this channel.